Anyways, okay, so the only other thing I want to show you was things that came in the mail. So much for my sabbatical.
Hello, everybody. The worst starter. I don't know why you make me do this. Welcome to On the Lamb podcast, an awkward knitting place. We're back. We took a week off because Tamu, and she still is having life scheduling issues. It actually works out better for me in the long run because life is full right now for me too. But we're glad to be back. We are filming today on a Monday as opposed to our usual Wednesday. So there's going to be lots of noises downstairs. My husband is home with the kids, but it's just not a library morning, so it might be a bit loud.
Yeah.
I'm NalediS.
I'm Tamu.
And welcome back, everybody. I need to get my brain into like podcast mojo. I feel like I'm like, I don't really know, what am I talking about here?
Yeah, so when you said you were almost ready to go, that I was like, okay, I need to collect my things and collect my thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we usually do Wednesday, so it's just Wednesday. I'm like, I'm in the mode, I'm in the zone, like right from the get-go. I know what I need to do and whatever. And today it's like, la la la. So
Wednesday.
It might be a little extra all over the place.
Yeah, it's like Wednesdays, and it's like I usually have breakfast, and then we get right into it. Like it's the first thing I'm thinking about. I've already like done quite a bit of activity today, so I think I need to like switch back into this mode. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Oh well. But so just to kind of go back to what NalediS was saying about scheduling and making time for podcast, I think I posted on Instagram as well, but just to mention it here for those who are watching regularly or semi-regularly, for the summer 2018, in case you're watching this in the future, we are going to try an every other week schedule because, well, this week we have a field trip. Next week is end of school year, like picnic things in the park. And then the following week is the last week of school for my kids. And then it's summer break. And summer break, I put them in camp every other week. We'll see how that goes. Last year, summer camp didn't go so well. This year, I've specifically signed them up at a camp, even though I realized after the fact, I guess I was looking at the factors that were important to me. I didn't really look at the fact that it's a little bit more expensive, the camp that I chose. Not super pricey, but a little bit more than the other options offered by this one community organization, because their hours are longer. They, like, for people who are working, they're doing like 8:30 to 5:30, and I'm like, my kids can't. That's a really long day for my kids because they don't have to go to before and after school care. So I emailed them, was like, can I like drop them off like 9 and then like pick them up at like 3:30? Because that's like a really long day for them. But I specifically chose this one, because we could walk there from our house, and 2, because they get to be in the same group. So the age group of the group that they're in is 4 to 8 or something like that. So they actually get
to be in the same group.
I want them to be in the same group only because of the issues that we had with camp last year and Reese not wanting to go. And I'm just concerned that like there's no refunds. So I've already paid for the weeks that I've chosen. Yeah. Like, I'd really like them to go at least for most of the week. And like not that podcasting is like, no, they can't be home, but it would be nice to have a few days at least in the weeks that they're signed up that I can actually get work done. And I will potentially be teaching on certain days and stuff too. So with all of those things combined, I was like, whatever I can do to set them up for success would be beneficial. Yeah. I feel like it won't be an issue because they're going to be running around and playing so much with other kids, and they play well together when it's the 2 of them and other kids, that I feel like it won't be too big of a deal. We'll see. Anyways, back to the main point, which was we will be on an every other week recording schedule, at least for the summer, and we'll see how it goes into the fall. We may continue with that format and then pop in little extra videos if we feel like we need to, or we have a lot to say. It's like we don't want to go like every other week and then have videos be like 2 hours long because we have so much to talk about, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. but just be forewarned, at least for the next however many videos it ends up being, 4 to 6 or something like that.
I think part of it for me, that every other week is just good for my knitting content. Like I just see how much lower it is since the weather has been nice. So that's why that every 2 weeks is good for me. So I feel like for fall, I imagine it will pick up again. You know, like once I'm not in the garden as much. And
yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking to myself that I'm like, for me, it's almost like not quite the opposite, but a little bit opposite, that like the weeks that the kids are home, I won't have as much work time, and I can easily, depending on what I'm working on, knit while they play, knit while we're at the park. Like I just bring my knitting everywhere. So I put little bits on everything all the time.
Right.
So I actually like am almost more productive sometimes when they're home. Like,
right,
on simple projects, like certain things. If it's something that requires a lot of attention, obviously not. But if it's just like stockinette for days, well, I can do that while my kids run around. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that switches.
I also feel like it has something to do with the fact that I haven't always been knitting.
Yeah.
And it's like with Ada, it's different. You know, like Clark and Morgan don't, like, they accept that I knit. Ada, it's like if she sees it in my hands, yeah, she will like walk towards me and then like beeline and walk away.
Yeah.
She doesn't not like me knitting. Oh, I just remembered something else that I should have brought up. It's just like for her, it's like I won't play with her the way that she wants me to. So I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's get into this. Let's get into this. What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? It was funny. I was walking around my house going, what should I wear? Because I initially had on my, oh man, my nose is so itchy. Sorry, allergy season. I initially had on my auspice shawl this morning, just school drop off, and it was a little chilly out. I was like, well, I've already worn that, so I should wear something else. And I was like, what did I say last time I was going to wear? I need to start writing these things down when I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll wear that next week. And then I totally forget what I said. So I think this is what I said I was going to wear, was my Thunder Road. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Thunder Road Bolero.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
The pattern designer is, her name's on Instagram is Poison Girls, and I can't remember her real name, sorry. But I love her style so much. Like if somebody asked me, what's your personal style? I'd be like, I don't really know. It's whatever I feel like wearing on that day and whatever fits in the way I want it to fit. But I really admire and feel like almost, not jealous is not the right word, but like, I don't know, a sense of longing when I see girls who pull off that rockabilly 50s style so beautifully. And that's Poison Girls to a T. So I'm just loving knitting some of her patterns because I feel like it's my like little bit of, I can infuse some of those elements with my knitting, with my hand making into my wardrobe in a way that makes them like wearable for my body and stuff without going like crazy vintage shopping for things I'll never end up wearing. So this is her Thunder Road Bolero. If you've seen Grease. It was part of her Pink Ladies collection, and I just bought her newest pattern. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a sort of cropped little summer t-shirt because I'm pretty sure I have the yarn that she used already in my stash, but I'll show you the back. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the front. It's a little bolero, just meant to sort of cover the shoulders, and the back is all this lace pattern.
Nice.
I'm trying to like open it up a little bit because I get that when I relax it, it kind of crunches together, but kind of see. It was super fun knit, super fast. And this is the same base as that test knit / my sister Cal project. So it's the Marrakesh, the cashmere silk sport weight from Crooked Kitchen Yarns. This is the raspberry beret colorway. Okay. On the see, it's like very variegated raspberry kind of tones. Hard to, like, not the best color it's good color representation when I sit back from the camera like this. When I went closer, it was blowing it out a bit. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first time I had used that base. I absolutely love it. This I pulled off in one skein, which is pretty awesome because I I don't remember what the yardage is on that skeins. It's pretty good. Like they're kind of generous skeins, but yeah, I made this with one skein. The only thing I had to do is, where was it? Oh, around this edging. So you do the body, join the top, I think, do the sleeve. So like this is all one piece, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is one piece. Then you pick up and kind of do the sleeves with like short rows. So it's like a little cap sleeve. And then you go around and do this little ribbed border. And it was like, when I got to that, I was looking at the nugget I had left. I was like, that's not going to make it. Like, there's just no way. And I was like, I'm not buying a whole nother skein to do, what is it, like 3 or 4 rows and a bind off all the way around, because it like goes the whole way. And I was like, there's no way I'm buying another skein for that. That's ridiculous. So I went through my stash and found, I think it was a mini skein that I bought also from Laura in a similar base, but not the same. I don't know if it was just merino silk or BFL silk or something like that, but it's like a darker purple color. So if you look really close, you could kind of see the color difference, but you can sort of see that like every other stitch is a darker purple or kind of a grayer purple. It's really hard to tell on the camera. Yeah. But in real life, you can slightly see the difference, but
not when I've just seen it. I've seen it in real life, and I've not picked it up. I'm not looking for it though.
You're not looking for it, and even if you are looking for it, it's almost, I had to like double check and be like,
it's not like having it
here, but no,
with like a lime green or something. You know,
no, it was good enough. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, it was
I like that top a lot. Yeah,
yeah. So I had made it because, I mean, partially because it was cute and I wanted to make it, but also it was my mother-in-law's birthday party last summer, something like that. I think it was a birthday party. Her and her twin sister's birthday barbecue at my sister-in-law's house. And I was wearing a black, just like t-shirt material dress that I thought, it's just black and plain. It's nothing to it. So I was like, this will be cute to like just throw over my shoulders. It got a little warm, so I probably ended up taking it off partway through the day. But you know, for the initial, like while we were setting up the window blowing and stuff, it was like perfect, a little bit of coverage without. So she's, if I'm not mistaken, added some variations to the pattern now, I think, to add sleeves. And I don't know about adding it so it actually like closes and comes across. That would be a nice variation in my opinion, because I think this would be so cute if it could like go full cardigan with like sleeves and all the way across.
Yeah, that lace pattern.
Keep the lace pattern going for like dressing up and stuff like that, but without being like too dressy. Anyways.
There's no reason why you couldn't like do like the Garconi with that lace pattern in it, you know what I mean? Like to have the numbers and stuff, you know, just like borrowing things from different patterns.
Yeah, that's true. I can't remember how. I think the cast on was at the bottom of the back. So you like come out, go up, and then separate front and back, I think. So I feel like you probably could sort of start at the bottom back and just increase more so it goes wider. But I have a bad habit of thinking things make total sense, then doing them and being like, that didn't work at all. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like a smart idea or kind of a dumb idea, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day if I'm bored and feel like experimenting. That said, there's so many other really cute cardigan patterns that I don't think I'm sure I could find something without needing to hack the crap out of this one. Anyways, what are you wearing? As if I don't already know.
As if people don't already know.
As if I don't already know.
So this is Temu's new design prototype. It's not exactly how the finished design will be, but I don't know what it's called.
It's as yet unnamed. I have an idea in mind of a name, but I also feel like it would be a really good name for like a collection of patterns. So I'm not sure. It may end up being both the name of that pattern and the name of the collection that pattern goes with, but we'll see.
It's the prototype, the first of this design that came off the needles. It's little crop top with this, you can probably see this triangle little design.
Yeah.
On the front here, pointing down, and turn around, show you the back.
Can't really see it, but it also has a triangle, whatever. Reverse stockinette triangle on the back, but pointing the opposite direction.
The yarn is blue brickish?
Well, her Instagram handle is blue brick-ish. Her shop is the blue brick.
Oh, the blue brick. Okay.
It's one of her strata colors, which is like speckled and it's gradient, because gradient's like her main gig, but then she started coming out with these. So it's, speckled gradient. The colorway was called Lichen. I want to say it's on her Killarney sock base. I think it's just a merino nylon. And the strata sock ones are a little bit bigger than her other sock skeins, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like 500 yards ish skein.
Yeah.
So, just new design that I'm working on. I'm so annoyed at myself that I forgot. So I'm working on like what'll be more likely the actual pattern, like second prototype. And I totally forgot my project bag at Jamie's house last week.
Oh.
And then when they came on the weekend to drop off Remy, she forgot it at her house again. And it's like not that big a deal because I have other things. It's like, first off, it was principle of the matter that I was like, I know I brought this to Jamie's. And I could, in my head, I thought I had seen it again at home. So I'm searching everywhere going, where did this project? Because, and I was like, I didn't even really want to work on it at that moment. It was just irking me that I couldn't find it. So it was all I could think about. I was just like, you keep like going back to the same places again and again and being like, it might be in here, but it might be in there. Why can't I find it? So I was like getting all panicky. So finally I messaged her and was like, did I leave this at your house? She was like, oh yeah, I meant to message you. I was like, oh, thank God. She's like, oh, sorry, again, whatever. I'll bring it on the weekend. And then weekend came and they were on their way to our house and she was like, oh my gosh, I forgot it. And I was like, honestly, I just feel more relaxed that I know where it is in the world. I'm like, it's not even that I need to have it. It would have been a good podcast knit, but because I haven't been working on it because I have these other test knits on the go right now, but whatevs.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was like the test knits. You got two?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, are there more that I don't know about?
I'm a sucker. I can't say no. And not that people even specifically asked me. I just see them and I'm like, I need to do that.
It's funny.
Yeah, so that's what we're wearing.
So what are you podcast ripping?
I am sewing seams. Hold on one second. You do yours and then, because I have like literally 5 stitches left.
Okay.
So I
don't have a lot to say about mine, so hurry up. I am working on my adventure on the wrong side.
Another one.
Yeah, well, I think I started showing it last week. We showed all the balls of Lolo did it. So yeah, it's like such an easy thing to work on and pick up. And
so what do you think you're using right now? So the first color for sure was Lolo. What's the second one? Oh, that's also Lolo.
They're all 4 of these so far. I'm on the 4th color. They're all Lolo.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what colorways they are. Well, this is like the raspberry one.
Oh, 4th, you just joined in. I was like, I can't see a 4th color.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I barely have done anything on it. Yeah. Raspberry beret, yeah. I don't know what the other ones are. You thought the first one was what?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, here's your choices.
I don't know.
I might
probably raspberry beret.
Things how we're doing this on a Monday, I might be able to I might just feel like going on later and figuring out which one's which.
Yeah.
For sure that pink one's raspberry beret.
Yeah. That'd be the only thing. The top one might be Wake Me Up, but I don't know. I honestly don't, and I don't remember what I said last week, so there's a good chance that I'm just pulling stuff out of my behind now. It's like I know there's like certain ones that I know only because it's kind of obvious. Like Heisenberg is like blue, but then and Steel Magnolias has like a steely kind of gray blue color in it. But other than that, I don't really.
You said this you thought was Steel Magnolias.
I'm pretty sure it's Steel Magnolias. And because I looked at that way before, because I was like, oh, I really like that. And I really like that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I'll probably, I feel like I've got space in my brain today. Who knows what the day will bring, though.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter. Ultimately, is just as far as I know, randomly curated collection of little mini cakes from Lolo Did It that I think she just does them every once in a while. She might not do them again. I don't know, because she's on to like a whole bunch of different like sock sets and stuff now. But yeah, that I just kind of picked up on a whim because it's always nice to have like random minis in my collection. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just such a nice thing to do when it's like my hands wouldn't mind working on something, but I'm like, I just don't feel like thinking about what I'm working on and want to watch this movie or something like that. So
yeah,
that's what I love about Adventures on the Wrong Side. Doing the pattern and like switching up the charts and stuff. That's the only difference, really.
Yeah.
Not really even that much either. Just a little bit.
Just like different.
Or different. Twist is my favorite, so I think it probably will always be the first one that I cast on.
Okay, so I am working on sewing up seams.
Oh, cool.
Test knit.
Yeah, that's due. Oh, cool. Good for you, because you still are early. Nice.
I probably would have been done on the weekend, but I didn't really have a much sewing mojo, like I went to the Knit in Public Day get together that Galt House of Yarn was advertising, kind of hosting in Queen's Square in Cambridge, in downtown Galt. And I was like, well, I don't want to bring sewing to that. And then have like other things on the go. So I was like, there's like one point where I was like, no, I really just want to get this part of this one pattern done. And, I just couldn't get my head around seaming. And then last night I was like, I wonder if I could get all 4 seams done. Cause I like, instead of one side seam, you're sewing in the panels. So it's like 2 side seams on both sides. So I was like, I wonder if I could get the whole side seam done all 4 side seams done in one shot while we're watching shows. I got one panel in while we were watching. So it's like 2 hours-ish of sewing to get one panel in because I wanted the seams to be nice and clean. And so I was really trying to not super take my time, but just be careful while I was sewing them. And I think I did a pretty good job. Seaming's not always my strong suit. Like I don't hate doing it necessarily, but I hate doing it when it ends up looking like crap at the end. Right. And my seaming skills have definitely improved, but I still feel like I just have to like take my time with it because it's not hard for me to end up sort of putting the needle into like, so one stitch over and then throwing the seam off. And I just like them to look like really consistent the whole way down.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody should
I think the boho sheet, my sister Cal will be my first attempt at seaming. So then I'll actually have an appreciation for what you're talking about. Not that I've never sewn before, but I've never seamed a knit garment. So
yeah,
I can't really.
Honestly, my biggest advice with seaming is Google it. Because really for a long time, I just thought, oh, it'll be easy. It won't be that big of a deal. And I just went for it. And that's probably what messed me up to begin with and what kind of threw me off of seaming for so long. Because I think I was trying to just figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
Like so many great resources that tell you exactly like, or at least you can see what the different seam options are before you attack it. Because it's like, whether you're like in this case, I'm sewing the like row ends together. I'm seaming the row ends together as opposed to like the top edges of the fabric. Like that makes a difference. Like what direction the knits are going, how you want to seam them together. And I'm seaming 2 different colors together. So I don't, that also plays like a role. I don't want the seam thread to show and then make it look weird on the sides, and it's a garment, so you want the seam to be stretchy, and there's just like all these little factors and so many great resources now that could just give you tips, and then you can see these are all the options that exist. What makes sense for my project? What do I want to try? So Just YouTube it, Google it. I'm telling you. And then take
Yeah,
your
I
time.
don't think I was gonna try and guess.
No, I'm just saying for everybody, like,
yeah.
just Google it.
Probably worth the Google.
And then, so earlier when you said I had pulled the camera down and was showing the cleave, I was looking for my baggie of these little things. Oh my gosh. Lord. These are amazing. So I used
Butterfly
to,
clips?
pardon? No, it's meant specifically for knit. I think it's called a knit clip. And
Hold
it's
it on your other side because it's like blown out on, yeah. No, that's still.
So they kind of remind me of those little like sharky claw clips for your hair. They
I meant
used
a butterfly clip, yeah.
little kids. Oh, I don't know what I thought you said, but it wasn't that. But they have like one tooth and one hole that it lines up with on the other side. So you just put that tooth through your knit and then close it and it'll hold it together for seaming. So I bought like a little baggie of these size ones and then a little baggie of bigger size ones for like thicker fabrics, obviously, from Lens Mill. They're fairly inexpensive considering. But I used to use, you can get plastic like straight pins basically. And I've tried those before, but I find they tend to slide out on me, especially because I will sometimes get halfway through a seam and have to put my stuff down. And in the past, I've also tried to use safety pins, and I find they often, because they're long and the fabric's only like, they'll slide around, so it won't actually, like they'll slide and then they'll end up with like one piece of fabrics at one end, one's at the other, so it's not really holding it in line anymore, whereas these are like perfect for this kind of project. So I recommend. I think they're like Susan Bates brand, for people who are familiar with those products. And I think they were called the Knit Clip. I'll try to double check. I'll try to look it up and send you something so people can maybe find it on Amazon or somewhere. Anyways, highly recommend. Awesome little tool, which is also making seaming just a little more fun. I like little gadgets, and little gadgets sometimes make it more fun to do things that are not particularly exciting or enjoyable. Anyways, so I was looking for the baggie of those because I, for some reason, brought it upstairs to the kitchen table last night. Anyways, what else have you been?
It's also basically an FO for you.
Ah, yeah, it's really like an NFO. I feel like I had an FO.
You mean AFO?
Sure.
What's NFO?
Nearly finished.
Oh.
Even closer than almost. I was going to say, I know. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to have an FO for this podcast because I thought
BFO.
What?
BFO.
Basically finished?
Basically finished.
I tried it on last night. After I put in the one side panel, I put it on for some reason because that seemed like a good idea. And then came out, like I went in the bathroom and put it on so I could look at it in the mirror, and then came out to Steve and was like, look at this. So I showed him the panel side. Then I showed him the non-panel side. He's like, there's a lot of like side boob because the one side's like totally open. He's like, you're going to need like a tape situation. I was wearing a tank top underneath. It's not like I was naked underneath, but still. I was like, I wonder how people would feel about this look. Yeah, anyway, so I was thinking to myself, whoa, don't I have an FO to show? This was going to be my FO to show because I thought we were going to record tomorrow. So then it would have been done and I would have worn it, but what else? Next time.
Next time, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. By 2 weeks, I'll probably forget and I'll have something else and then I'll be like, what was that thing I was going to show?
I know, yeah, that will be the thing anyway.
Anyways, do you have any FOs?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, yes, you do.
FO except for like the finishing. Actually, I'm kind of annoyed with myself. So, this is finally off my needles.
Nice.
It's too big and bulky and hot to wear it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there needs to be ends woven in.
Mm-hmm.
And blocked because I forgot you're supposed to block it before you seam it and before you add that. And I realized it after I had seamed both, or like not seamed, Kitchenered both sleeves together. And I had done the I-cord on the little sleeve hole. And then I read it again and I was like, oh, I promised myself I wouldn't forget that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like getting the flow though. And I was like at this point where I'm like, I got one more chart repeat and then I get to Kitchener. Like, anyway, so my free bird cocoon is off the needles. I won't have to show you guys this every week anymore.
So what are you going to do though about the blocking? Are you going to just block it as best you can?
Yeah.
And
I already decided, like, if it ends up, I don't think, like, because we were talking about it with it being mostly acrylic, 90% acrylic, I doubt it's going to do a whole ton of, like, crazy movement. But if for some reason it does, I'm not opposed to, like, I've got all this yarn left over. I'm not opposed to opening it all back up if I absolutely have to, and then blocking it properly, because this is not, like, I put so much GT work into it. It's not like the yarn costs that much, but I put so much time into it, and it's so cozy. I don't want it to be something I end up not wanting to wear. How terrible would that be? It's a whole lot of acrylic yarn. You got to wear this bad boy. So, and it, but I don't see it doing a whole lot of crazy. Basically, when I swatched it,
smoothing, I feel like mostly smoothing.
Pardon?
Just like kind of the smoothing it out, and
that's basically all that happened with this swatch. Like, I really didn't notice it move that much. It just like felt so much smoother. Just felt it's just a nicer fabric at the end. So, but I don't know. We'll see. And the only thing I really care, like the only thing I feel like really I want to change in the blocking is the back panel to see if it can open up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's the only focus of it really, and for it to be a little bit of a nicer fabric feel.
Yeah. I was gonna say, should if in some time in the near future you're coming to my house, bring it and then we'll try out the steamer on it, because I feel like heat.
Did you get a steamer?
Yeah, I got a steamer. Was my Mother's Day.
Oh,
I think didn't I show you?
No.
I think maybe I meant to show it and then I forgot. But yeah, it's just like a garment steamer. So because I've tried, I think, we talked about this because I was talking about how
you said you wanted to get one. I remember that.
Because I've tried to use my iron in the past, and my iron, because it has a steam function, but it's not meant to be continuous steam. So it's like after a while of steaming, the element cools down because of the water, and then you have to like wait for it to heat back up and then keep going. It takes forever, and it drips sometimes too, which is not the end of the world, but it's just more like a pain in the butt. So so finally I was like, no, that was my Mother's Day gift. Was a steamer.
Like, I might even bring this camping.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm. With it being acrylic, it's like nice because at least it doesn't feel too like precious to wear out.
No, exactly.
Like that, yeah.
But have a little bit more camping class than my big teal fleece sweater. Mind you, that thing is so warm. Feels so good. This is the first time actually like sitting and wearing it too. I like put it on for a sec, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing else to say about it really. It's a well-written pattern. Great.
It's nice because it's like, you get a really cool garment if you like that style, but it's not like a lot of shaping and craziness, like the most maybe challenging part is just doing cables, which they're not complicated.
It was not challenging at all.
I would say only the back panel. There's one part of the cable pattern that was I just found a little bit tricky the first time or two, because the cross is not, like, say that the cable that we can see on the front there is like an even cable where you do like say 4, whatever, 3 and 3. But on the back panel, there's one where it's just a little bit of a different cable. So
but I didn't find that challenging to do it. It was more the next row up to like read, to be able to read the work. You can't actually read it. You got to like look back at the chart again to make sure you're lining up the knits and purls the right way. I think once or twice I was trying to follow along and then realized, oh shoot, no, I wasn't supposed to purl there or whatever. But anyways, I wouldn't have said it was challenging. It was just like
not like hard, but it's just like that you have to think about it.
This part.
Pay attention. Yeah, you have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I guess you pay attention.
Yeah, but because it's just like that little back panel, it's not like a huge wide thing.
Oh, and you do it like 2 or 3 times on the whole back panel. Yeah. Anyway. It's done! Any other FOs?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. What else are you whipping? Can you show the other test knit? Yeah, it's not a secret.
I think so. What else am I whipping?
It was the picture that was posted on Instagram.
Yeah, the picture was on Instagram, so that usually, for me, feels like, okay, it's okay to show.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a few things, but this is one. So I think she's calling it the Maple Buds top. Her name's Natalie. I think she's Redhead Nada on Instagram. And she's out in Vancouver. I think she has a podcast actually with Jenny from What a Freak.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so this is just the yoke part. Like really not a great place to be showing it because there's not like a lot to see, but it's like a lacy yoke, and then we knit for like a little bit more and then like stop to hold the sleeves so you can bind them off after, and then just like top down stockinette body. I think there's a little bit of shaping in the body, but I'm not really sure because I haven't got that far yet. But
is that technically a raglan then?
No, a raglan's like the t-shirt that you're wearing where you have increases that come down on an angle.
Okay.
This would be a top-down like yoke style.
Okay.
So there are increases in here to make it grow to go over your shoulders, but they're evenly spaced throughout. And specifically in this design, you can't see them because they're part of the lace pattern. Okay. That'd be yoke style, I think, as far as I know. Yeah, anyways, so it's going to be really pretty, I think. The yarn is a linen silk blend from Crooked Kitchen Yarn.
Yes.
This colorway is...
that would be nice, linen and silk.
Yeah, it's very light.
Yes.
It feels like it's nice and smooth, but it feels like it'll be kind of durable.
Have you used it before?
No, and I forgot that she even had a linen blend. I feel like I've seen it before, but it didn't stick in my mind. I don't really gravitate towards linen a whole lot, but a linen blend is okay for me. Just because I find linen like often really kind of stiff and ropey, and I know that it gets softer as you wear it and wash it and stuff like that. I just like can't get over that initial feeling in the hand. But yeah, I kind of wish I had thought about it before, because remember when I bought that like random lace weight skein that I was like, I just feel like I need to knit something with lace. I totally would have gotten linen instead if I had thought about it at the time. That one's just a wool. And just like asked her to like, can you dye up this color on the linen? Because she only, at the time that I was in the shop, I think she only had 2 or 3 colors on this. She had this, which is birch and stick. She had Maple Buds, which is the color that Natalie used in her version. It's like a cream color with little like orangey kind of flecks in it. And then I think she did Raspberry Beret on it, or lavender. She did a purpley color. It was similar to this, but it might have been a little bit like lighter, a little bit more lavendery, which she had just put in the shop right when I was looking, because it was like the first time I looked, she only had this and the Maple Buds, and then she had the purple, and I almost went for the purple, and I was like, I have so much purple in my work. Like, oh my god, this, like, I have so many other purpley colors. I was like, yeah, I should go to something more neutral. Look who it is! Clarkosaurus Rex! I think we were talking about my test knit, and I don't think I had anything else to add. What was your other whip?
Me do another whip?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna show my sister cow, which it's gonna be really fast because I don't have that much to show. I'm on the front side now. I sort of realized, because I was so focused on getting my Well, I guess I've been working on a couple different things, but yeah, there's been like 3 other projects that I kept thinking about, and I forgot about the sister Cal. So now all of a sudden I'm like, go. It's supposed to be done in 4 days. It's not going to be done in 4 days.
Tisk tisk.
Yep. It's funny because usually I fly through our cows.
She's like, oh, it's Cal cast on day. I just bound off at midnight.
That's not the case. This is the second half, you dinkle knob. What?
That's what I'm saying. All the previous ones, it was like you cast on that day and you were done like by the end of the week.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's the finish day, so I better cast on.
No, I'm saying the opposite. It's the cast on day and you're binding off. Like,
right. Gotcha. I have to be honest, I'm just not excited about it.
That's what I said. I'm like, it was like a knit that it was not a process knit. It was a project knit. Like the actual process of knitting, it's just a lot of stockinette. And I was like, oh, I'll never get through it. And then when it's done, now I wear it like super regularly. I'm like the end piece is
I know
is what you're working towards.
Yeah, I know.
Fun of knitting a whole bunch of stockinette.
Yeah. Anyways, it's definitely my fire knit. Like I think that's pretty much like the only place ever work on it, so it smells like summer around the campfire. Nothing to say. It's the
Studio
Slub. Thank you. I'm like winter surf. No. Studio Slub, and I'm using Annie Lupton's yarn as well, called No Envy. That colorway is No Envy. That's it for that.
Yeah, I was wearing my Studio Slub on the weekend to the knit in public thingy.
You were also wearing it when I last saw you. The weekend before. 2 weekends in a row. Yes, you did.
I was wearing it that weekend.
Why were you wearing I don't know why you were wearing it. I just know you were. When I came over after the hair appointment, I was wearing my abalone, and you were wearing your Studio Slub.
What did we do?
I took notice.
Because we
the makers.
Maker Expo, yeah. I don't know. I have a thing about, like, sometimes when you're going somewhere, especially somewhere where I'm like, people might appreciate this, that I will wear like a certain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
another whip.
What did I pick up? Oh, I picked it up and put it back down. So in another Mrs. Brown's bag, I cast on another virus shawl. So I was going to switch my sweater for a virus shawl. Where, so you can see. Oh, plugs flying. So you can see what it actually looks like. So this is an older one, made out of Monsoon Calamities yarn. This was a colorway that I commissioned that she now has a whole series of licorice colorways is what she ended up calling it. So this was peach licorice, and then you can have, basically any color you can think of, there's a licorice colorway. So it starts at whatever color and transitions to black. But this
always does that. It starts the color.
Yeah, all of them, all the licorice colorways, like say starts at red, goes to black, blue, purple. I think she did a lime green. But the peach one was what started it off, because I saw something similar somewhere, but it was like somewhere in Europe. And I was like, oh, I'd really like to see if like Cindy would be able to do it for me, because then I could, shop local and support her and tweak it a little bit to what I thought would look cool. And yeah, this was colorway that kicked it all off. And not my first virus shawl, maybe my second or my third one. Because my very first one was free of fibers, 2 little cakes that I just happened to have. Not 2 little cakes I had, that's a bit of a lie. 1 cake that I purchased for way too much money from Skein Cocaine when they do like their auctions. It was like I had just found Skein Cocaine, someone had told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I gotta have that mint julep colorway. So stupid, because I didn't really think about US exchange plus shipping, because she puts her international shipping is like $20 US, which is kind of mental because it's not that much to actually ship things. So all in, it was like a very expensive cake of yarn. Now I was like, now that I have it, I can't use it because it's so precious. And then I found another one to go with it. Anyways, whatever. So one of my virus shawls. So this was one of my whips, because at I almost said end, but in the middle of August or near the beginning of August, I can't think of the dates off the top of my head, I'll be teaching a virus shawl class at Galt House of Yarn. So for people who want to learn like a kind of basic-ish crochet shawl construction, and who like that virus shawl look but aren't sure how to read the charts, because if you've never read charts before, it can look a little intimidating. Yeah, we'll have a class on that, just a 2-parter. So first one to kind of introduce you to the whole thing, and then second one to kind of troubleshoot and finish up. Yeah.
What's the rest of that yarn gonna look like?
Oh, it's all the same. It's not a great, it's just, I picked up yarn at Gold House of Yarn. So she was hoping I'd make a store sample just to hang up in the shop. So for people who aren't familiar with the virus shawl, they'd be able to see what it looks like. So I was like, oh, I better pick up something that people can actually get there if they're like, oh, I like that. So I got this.
It's pretty.
Melon. And that's that. Fuzzy. Yeah, super affordable. I bought 3 because the yardage they're 50 grams. So the yards, it's about 180 yards. And I think the pattern, I mean, what I love about the virus shawl is you literally can make it in any yarn, any gauge, just pick up what you got and start going. And you can, because it's top down, you just work until you feel like you're done. Run out of yarn, get it the size you want it. Like, it's such a simple pattern that way, and you just keep going. But I think the pattern says like 500 yards to 1,000 yards or something like that. Anyway, so I just thought, I'll just grab 3 skeins, so it's like affordable and it'll be a reasonable size, and then see. And then if I need to, I can always go back and grab another one. Like, not a big deal. They had a couple other colorways that I thought were really cute, so I almost kind of might put like a little border of something dark as like the last row, but we'll see how I feel about that once I get there. But yeah, plugging away at that. I was working on that at Knit in Public Day. Scraps from that.
Crocheting at the Knit in Public Day?
I feel like it's called Knit in Public Day, but it's like a do whatever you do yarn-wise in Public Day. Yeah. Do you have any other tips?
Sure I do. Always, Eddie. I also have a crochet project. Oh, I'm stuck with yarn. Now that I'm holding up, I'm like, oh, it's not as much as I thought it was. I thought I had way more done on this, but more of the diamond back. Making part of the front for the diamond back. This is another Tamu design, because you always have to have at least 2 things on the go of Tamu. Or not you, but I do. I actually technically have 3 on the go. Because I just haven't worked on it for a while. When this bad boy is done, I'll work on Beguiled again. Unless you, oh no, I'll probably start working on the shirt.
Yeah, one of the 2.
Do I have the yarn for the shirt that I'm going to do?
Yeah, I think the last time we talked about it.
Yeah, the grays. Right. Okay. Yeah, so what am I going to say about this? One of Tamu's new designs. You saw the whole thing a few episodes ago that Tamu was wearing. And my yarn is Freya Fibers. This was, the diamond was the vintage colorway, and it was from her Oopsie line. I don't know what she calls it exactly, but it was like didn't dye up exactly how they intended it. So you won't probably find this exact color anymore. And then the gray is their elephant. Yeah, elephant. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound right all of a sudden. Yeah.
They're both on their shawl balls, so they're like single ply. Slightly felted.
Yeah.
Single plies. I friggin' love that yarn so much.
Yeah.
And speaking of diamond back,
Tamu's crazy diamond back.
I love it so much.
Oh. So you got 5 different
started it. I got to probably like here when I started, and I was like, this is hideous. What was I thinking? And then I was like, no, just keep going and see how you feel about it. And then I got to like halfway, and I was like, no, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the bigger it's gotten, the more I can see all the colorways together. Like they're
like it just sort of looks like it kind of looks striped, because certain stripes really stand out.
Yeah.
But it also kind of looks like crazy variegated, because all the skeins pretty well pick up some color from another one.
Right.
So This is just 5 colors, and I think I took pictures of each of the little cakes with their tags, so when I do a project page for it, I will put the numbers in, but it doesn't really matter. It's koi goo. Go find 5 colors of koi goo. So I had 4 of them were mini skeins, and 1 was like their regular size of the KPPPM. So like they're super variegated ones. So yeah, I had some 20, I think they were 25-gram minis. So I had 4 25-gram minis and then a 50-gram one, which I ended up using about half of, that I just striped together for the back. And then for the front, it's going to be kind of a gradient fade-ish from gray into like a very light lavendery purple, and then a little bit of a darker purple on the side. But it was neat because the one thing I love about koi goo is like the colorways are so interesting. Their yarn is like this really nice, like kind of, it's like a high twist. So it's like nice kind of ropey texture, but like in a good way. It's nice and soft. But it feels durable and it's nice for crochet. It's actually quite springy. Sometimes, you crochet the wrong yarn in the wrong gauge and it's so dense and hard, the fabric, whereas this is like, it's so stretchy. I'm like, it's going to be gorgeous once it blocks out.
That's going to be a bit bigger, right?
Well, I was trying to make it bigger, but then for the back, I was starting to kind of run out of the colors. Like, so at the very end, the stripe pattern's like not exact, just because the way the rows get bigger, you use different yarn amounts as you go.
And how many center holes do you have?
I have more than what my original pattern had, but I probably, because of the gauge, when I think I measured the back of my other diamond back, and it's bigger, but only by a small amount, if that makes sense. Like,
so it won't really.
Yeah, it won't be super. What I'm kind of doing, I'm thinking 1 is going to block out and maybe get bigger that way. And then 2, the front and the side panel will be bigger. So it might not come down longer on my arm, but it'll fit looser around the body, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of changing the proportions of it a little bit. So the only other thing I was going to show that's not specifically acquisitions is
not
yarn. What? Well, it's in a mail bag, but it's only because that's just what I've left it in for an extended period of time. This is the yarn that I'm going to use. So I'm also testing a shawl for Annie of Boho Chic. She had it posted on her Instagram. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's like 3-color, not shawl, like more like a wrap, like a big rectangle. And it alternates sections of 3 different colors, but 2 fingering weight yarns and a mohair. So this is the colors that I'm going to use. So this is drift mohair from Stranded Dye Works.
That sound scared me. It sounded like a creeper about to detonate. Well, I like heard this sound. I thought something was coming through on my computer, like. Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is Stranded Dye Works. I have the labels here, but squish them all down. So Stranded Dye Works Drift Mohair in the Shiner colorway. It's kind of like a gray purple color if it's not coming through for you. And this is Punk Rock Unicorn. If you've never heard of her, she's amazing. Her colorways are beautiful, and she's a tattoo artist, which makes me think she's extra super cool. Yeah.
I'm like a fraud though, because I really don't know anything about her. This is
So there was one time where I ordered one of her pins, and then I had placed like probably a rather large order, and then she had sent me one of her pins for free, so I gave NalediS one. It's cute though because it's sparkly. Yeah. So this is just like a 75-25. In the Lavender Love colorway. It's probably really hard to see, but there are really gentle purple speckles and a little bit of like maybe dark gray speckles or teensy black ones that have kind of bled out, but lots of little purpley speckles in there. So it'll be like a pretty color without being like a boring neutral. And then this is from, oh gosh, what was it called? Rain City Yarns? Rain City Knits? I think it's Rain City Yarns.
I will plug that at the bottom for sure.
She might be hard to find because I think she's still on Instagram. I just haven't looked at her stuff in a long time because she had made the decision. She had made the decision to stop dyeing which was very sad because I really liked her colorways. But this, she had posted on her Instagram ages and ages and ages ago that it was like a test. She was testing out a colorway or something like that. So it doesn't have a colorway name. I think it's also like a 75-25, just fingering weight merino nylon. But it's like, you know, you can see it's a little warmer in real life than I feel like it's showing on the camera. So it's quite a bright, like a bright, but also somehow kind of pastel-y purple. But like it variegates into like a bubblegummy pink territory. So I feel like
it makes me think of the Diamondback.
Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah, similar-ish to the Thistle, but maybe not quite as bright.
Okay.
With me. But yeah, I feel like the three will look really cute together. It's funny because I had these three colors put aside in my Make 9 box for the Cosmic Dandy, which is a semicircle or like a half pie knitted shawl by Julie Knits in Paris. And yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, my Make 9, I'm really gonna knit this. And then when this test knit came out for Annie, I was like, oh my God, those are gonna be perfect for that too. So I decided to do that.
Yeah, your Make 9 really should have been a picture of all your yarns.
Yeah.
Yarns that you were
It's like, I'm going to knit with this yarn and this yarn and this yarn and by the end of the year. Because that's really what's happened is like, I've taken the yarn that I had for one thing and just put it to a different project.
But it's like you needed to put it with a pattern to know like, okay, I would want to put these colors together in this quantity. Yeah. But then you should have just taken a picture of the yarns and been like, I will make these for next
Well, and it's like, especially because I have two that are kits that I'm pretty sure that yarn will stay
right
for the intended pattern. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about that it would just be a thing of like committing the yarn rather than committing to a project, because they're all like projects I still want to knit. I just get distracted easily. Anyways, so yes. Anyways, okay, so the only other thing I want to show you was things that came in the mail. So much for my sabbatical.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I feel like I don't feel guilty about it because it was like two orders that it was like snooze or lose. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. So one was this shop called Doc Knits. It's DOC and then knits. And I think they're .com, but they might be .ca because it is a Canadian shop. I think they're in Picton or something. Anyways, they've made the decision to close their shop. Just look up Doc Knits. I don't recall when exactly the sale goes to, but they're going into June, I know. Anyways, so I was like, oh, that's a good opportunity to maybe see if they have anything I could use for the beekeeper cardigan. I'm sure if you're on Instagram, you've heard of this. There's a 4-day knit along for the beekeeper.
Oh, right. It's July 1st. I was like, you're
from Olive Knits.
Yeah.
And I knew I just didn't have enough of anything in DK weight in my stash. I have lots of DK weight in my stash, but it's like 1 skein of this, 2 skeins of that. And I just felt like because of the pattern, it really needs to be all one color. So I decided to go this route. And I'm like sort of second guessing it on one hand, but I feel like when it's done, I'll be happy. Just something really plain, easy to wear that I could dress up or dress down, you know, because I have a lot of stuff. The color is called something. I don't know. I can't remember. It's not called white, but it's like a soft white, we'll say. Not like a winter white where you're like, oh, that's like a piece of paper. It's like a soft white, which I feel like is generally a good color for me. I look nice in white. But I feel like it'd be nice for like dressy, you know, when you just want like a light colored cardigan, whatever, to stick over stuff.
I'm just so afraid to wear white.
Well, that's also why I went with this yarn instead of going for like, say, something hand dyed or something fancier or whatever, or something wool, because it's 52% acrylic. So yeah, it might get pilly. I might have to like take care of it in that way. But if I'm mostly wearing it for like, you know, events and going out and stuff, it'll be fine and it'll be easy to wash. It won't stain or anything like that too bad. So yeah. So vintage Broco, vintage DK. I've used the vintage bulky before and it's quite nice. Like it doesn't feel you know, sometimes acrylic almost feels like squeaky or something, or sticky, or I don't know, it has like a weird feel. So it doesn't feel like that. So 52% acrylic, 40 wool, 8 nylon. So I need to swatch for that. I don't know if I'll cast on the first because we will be camping, but she's basically doing the cal, like the official cal, I think just goes up to like the 15th or something. So it's kind of like
a 4-day cal.
It's a 4-day cal, but it's like you can, one, make it as long as you want. You don't have to for 4 days. And two, like if you can't cast on the first, cast on the second, cast on the fifth.
It's just 4 days.
The official cal will go to the 15th, and she's calling it the 4-day cal because she's saying it is possible to knit this in 4 days.
Gotcha. Okay.
Head down and do it. So I kind of want to challenge myself to see if I can do it in 4 days. I just know that it's very unlikely I will cast on the first because we'll be away camping. And I don't really want to bring white yarn to a dirt covered campsite.
No.
I honestly really thought about it, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to be really annoyed when I'm trying to pick leaf bits and grass bits out of it and shaking sand out of it when we get back. So I was like, I'm really trying to be strategic about planning what I bring so that I can work on things that I really want to work on, not just like time fillers I don't care about, but that I'm not going to be too bent out of shape if they fall on the ground or, you know. Anyway, also from Doc Knits, they had some Brooklyn tweed, and I was like, Brooklyn tweed at 40% off, you got to get that shiz. So I got 4 skeins of this. So it's Brooklyn tweed Corey, which is their bulky weight, in the hematite colorway, which is the name of a gemstone, semi-precious stone. I don't know what you call it. Semi-precious? Gemstone? Crystal?
I would call it crystal, but
crystal, sure. Look it up. It has some cool properties. So it's like, it's very, I don't know. Oh yeah, that kind of gives it there. That it's like a black underlay with like this red kind of glowy halo-ness over top of it, which I think is really cool. Will make for a really interesting kind of wardrobe staple, I feel like, for me. Like you can kind of make it a neutral, but you could also maybe pop out the red a little bit more depending on what you put it with. And so I think it's going to be either I think it's going to be a Carbeth cardigan because I'm feeling like I need more cardigans. I just like that they have a little bit more wear options, but
is there a Carbeth cardigan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's exactly the same as the pullover. It's just a cardigan. Like obviously it's a little bit different because you have to have like the overlap in the front to do the button bands, but basically the overall design is the same. There's a Carbeth. There's actually 3 when I looked it up again.
Yeah, I kind of remember that now.
Pullover, like the regular pullover that you did, the cardigan, and then another pullover that's longer and has like a lace kind of panel up and down the front and on the sleeve or something like that. And I looked at the yarn. So they had this in a few other colorways. And I was like, oh, that longer pullover would be so gorgeous. They had like this in a light gray color, but they didn't quite have enough skeins for the size that I would need to knit. So I almost did however many skeins they had of like this light gray and then 1 skein of this like kind of light lavendery purple color. And I was like, well, that could be that long sweater. And I was like, no, don't go overboard. Just get what you need and get out. So I just did the 4 skeins instead. And then the other thing we've done indiscretions since the last podcast. Tanis had an update, so you know you have to overindulge because it's Tanis.
I did not overindulge.
No, you were very well behaved. I feel like it's easier to be well behaved when you're not the orderer.
Oh, I went on. And
I know.
Ordered.
But yeah, as the orderer, it was easy to be like, well, just one more thing. Especially because I really love that we did an Etsy update. Tanis did an Etsy update. And one thing that she's really awesome about is if you place multiple orders, because what I will do, similar to like at Christmas when she was doing like $1 and $2 shipping, you could like go on, you find something and just check out right away with that thing, then go back to keep browsing, because otherwise sometimes you'd miss out on the thing that you really want. But on some people's shops, they don't combine the shipping for you, so that could be a really expensive way to go. You end up paying like 4 times the shipping for essentially one order. So Tanis will sit down and actually like collate all the orders. So she'll combine stuff for you. So first up thing that we absolutely had to have was the retro colorway.
That's the lighter one, hey?
This is like, is that the lighter one? No, these are the darker ones.
Oh.
I think. Almost I mixed them up here. You can
put
see
your hand. No, that's darker for sure.
Yeah, that's the darker spot.
Yeah.
But it's light down here.
Oh, that is the same one. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can see that kind of goldy weird color there. It's really hard. It's not picking it up well on the camera at all. But there's like neon speckles, kind of a gray base with like a bit of this weird pukey gold color. I just love it. If you go on Tanis's Instagram, she had posted a picture of her knitting a sweater that had this retro colorway in it. So I picked up 4 skeins of this, 2 for me, 2 for NalediS. And this is on the Pure Wash worsted, which is her like answer to Superwash. That's a little bit more environmentally friendly. It's really, really nice to work with. All of her Pure Wash line is really, really nice to work with. It's just so smooth and soft, and yeah, it's really nice. And then the other thing I picked up, oh no, I did pick up one more thing. I forgot it. Did I? Oh no, I did bring it. So to go with this, I sort of semi-impulse purchased this, which was the Harmony colorway. So I would say it's like a steely blue-gray, and then there's a bit of like a warm overwash on it. I don't think that's picking up at all, but in real life you can see that there's like a bit of a purpley wash in some spots. So I feel like with the retro, that'll be a good kind of pseudo neutral. And then I had another one in my stash already called Fig. So I think I'm going to use all 4 together into maybe another, what's that thing called?
Garconi?
Abalone.
Oh, right.
Well, Sone is DK, but I mean, I'm sure you could do it in worsted, but I might do another abalone and kind of, just because it's such a simple pattern and really easy to customize it to your own size. So I can really try to use all of the yarn. And I want to do it a little bit different than I did the last one, try to get it a little bit more coverage across the front. So that's possibly my plan.
Mine will be a pullover, I think.
What? Oh, that you're going to use yours.
Maybe a flax. I might do a flax.
That'd be nice.
With the chartreuse. Ever since I saw Tanis's picture, yeah, her sample she showed was the flax with the retro and chartreuse, and that's what I think mine's going to have to be.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then this was my other little unplanned purchase. We were only supposed to be looking for the retro, and then you're just scrolling through and something catches your eye. But it was funny because so this is the Laurel colorway on Red Label, which is MCS. So
that came crazy fast. I just realized that.
Well, she's only in Montreal.
I know, but the Boxing Day one, and I'm sure it was because it was Christmas. She was taking time. Yeah, it took
partially Christmas, and it took longer on that one also just for the shipping to say like your order shipped. It took way longer, but I think it was a bigger update, so it took her longer to kind of collate the orders and stuff, and over the holidays and all that, because I can't remember when the update actually was, but I don't think she shipped them out until after New Year's. Yes. Whereas this one, like, yeah,
the update was Boxing Day. It was the Boxing Day update.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think she shipped them out till not well after, but after New Year's. Yeah. Anyways,
so I think I was expecting it to take that long too, and I just realized, like, oh my gosh, you showed me pictures too, but I was just had that moment of like, yeah, that was fast. Anyhow, yes. What's that one that you're molesting?
Laurel. Oh, I was going to bring up the other skein of Laurel so you could see how different they are. So scrolling through, see this Laurel colorway on MCS, and we all know I'm a purple girl, so I was like, maybe I'll just get one. But one's not really enough to make anything, so I probably should get 2. Oh my God. Like if my husband only knew, I'd be in so much trouble.
He still doesn't know.
Huh?
He still doesn't know.
So it's merino, 75 merino, 15 cashmere, 10% silk. It's so soft. So soft. I'm in love. And it was funny because when I looked at it online on Etsy, on my computer anyways, this purple color was coming up more like a burgundy kind of color. So I was thinking like, oh, it'll be kind of like a dressy, like maybe for the holidays, la la la. Then it comes and it is like, again, it's like that thistle colorway purple. Like it's much more bright, and the speckles are all like very neon. Like, I feel like, and I don't know if it was just the photograph or different batches or my computer like distorting the color, but it's like completely different than what I pictured. Not that I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it a lot. It was just like, all right, well, I'm glad I got two, because I definitely am not going to make what I thought I was going to make with it, or I wouldn't wear what I was going to make for the purpose I thought I was going to wear it.
What were you going to do with it?
Well, what I was thinking was like some kind of top or like kind of little sweatery jacket thing, but with like a more plain outfit. If it was like a burgundy color, I was like, oh, that'd be kind of good for like winter and the holidays, like dressing up. I'm like, now with like, I mean, not that I'm saying I wouldn't wear this to dress up, but this is like, it's much more bright and fun and energetic that I'm not sure I would wear it to say Christmas dinner. You know, it's just like those, it doesn't say that kind of event for me. So anyways, I still want to make some kind of garment. Now I'm not sure what garment that will be.
Yeah.
And they're nice, kind of generously sized skeins. They're 420 yards. Sometimes, like, I feel like with fancier yarn bases, the yardage isn't always the same. So anyways, yeah. So I got a good amount to use for something garmenty. There's something else I was going to say.
And I guess it is the dyer that would decide. No, they come already.
Depends. Not everybody does it the same. Some dyers buy their yarn in cones and then they skein it so they can make whatever size they want.
Right.
Some buy them. You buy the skeins and then you buy. I don't know. And I don't really know who ultimately decided. I assume the decision was more made by weight than it was by yardage. Like 100 grams of X just happens to be this many yards, so we'll just do 100 gram skeins because that's easy to count. And then you know what you're buying or whatever. Oh yeah, I was going to bring up, it was funny, after I brought it or got it home, got it from the mail, whatever, went and put it in my stash, and I have sort of all my tannis together in one spot for whatever reason, and looking in my stash, and I was like, oh, what's that? And I pull it out, and I'm like, oh, it's the Laurel colorway on Pure Wash DK, I think. And I was like, oh, that's funny, because I'd completely forgotten that I had already purchased this colorway before. Not that it matters, because it looks very different on this base than it does on that base, but it was just funny, my yarn amnesia.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's it for acquisitions. Anyways, check you later. See you in 2 weeks. Hit us up down below or on Instagram or Ravelry or wherever you are and can find us. Let us know what you're working on this summer, if you were doing the sister cowl or you have some other summer knit on your needles. And we'll see you again soon.
See you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Goodbye.
Yarn on. Bye.